The Warriors, they won the championship. They beat the Grizzlies on Sunday night. It was the best championship game of the day. Way more exciting than the World Cup. No offense to the World Cup, but the Summer League title game took the cake from me, Isaac. It was a lot of fun to watch that comeback by Golden State in the fourth quarter. Yaxel Lendeborg, 6 games in July, 15 points per game, 36% from 3, 7 boards, 4 assists. He had 20 and 10 in the final. Yaxel looked like a easy transition for him so far to the NBA.
No question. He just looks like an NBA player, right? I think that's something that we've noticed for a really long time, especially even dating back to early in that Michigan tenure. You're like, oh, that's what an NBA player looks like. I like the little bit of a rivalry that's starting here with Cam Boozer and Yaxel Lendeborg, arguably 2 of the best 3 players in college basketball this past season alongside A.J. DeBonsa. They had some head-to-head wars when Duke played Michigan, and then we saw them go toe-to-toe again in this one. And I just think that Yaxel's ability just to impact the game in every single facet is really, really impressive. He can pass, he can dribble, he can shoot, he can cut, he defends. And that's the type of opportunity he has to take advantage of if he wants to get on the floor early and often for this Warriors group.
I was just so impressed by the versatility with him, the 3-point shooting, the attacking off the dribble, the playmaking, the feel for the game that he has. And I think with his defense, that should be even better in the NBA moving forward. I still think he's working his way back from that injury that he had in the tournament is sort of my impression from people I've talked to and from just seeing him play, moving on defense. He was better earlier in the season at Michigan, but ultimately to me, he looks like a clear-cut, long-time NBA pro. I don't care that he's older for a rookie. It's irrelevant when it comes to the fact he's still super young in terms of the grand scheme of things at 23, nearly 24 years old. He still has a long future ahead of him. I still think it's so funny, like, he always says something. He always like does something so good on the court, and then after the game, he says about the Grizzlies, man, their butts got tight. They puckered up. You know what I mean? Some of us are built for this moment and some aren't. It's like, oh my God, Yaxel.
This is the Yaxel Lendeborg experience. Like, he is going to say something every single time. I think I was in person when they played the Sweet 16 game against Alabama, and he torched Amari Allen, who was on NBA draft boards at that point. And the quote after that game was like, I thought it was just so disrespectful that they put a freshman on me. And then he's like calling Michigan State little brother like multiple times after they played him. Like, this is just how he rolls. Like, he has no off switch. Interesting cat, I would say, from talking to people around the Michigan program. He's a bit of an interesting cat, but like, this is kind of who he is. I kind of respect just how genuine he is about the whole ordeal. And when you're really, really good, all of that goes away. Although he may have to tone this down in the regular season because like this stuff is not going to fly forever.
Well, I thought it was also funny in his post-game interview. He thanked the jersey sponsor. What a way to start the IRN, the organization and sponsorship. It's like, what? Why are you thinking of the jersey sponsor? He's a goofy guy. I respect him for it. It's like Dusty May said on my podcast a few months ago. You're getting an authentic person who's true to himself. And so I appreciate that. Draymond Green clearly doesn't. Draymond Green basically told him to shut up when Yaxel was asked for what the case is for LeBron James to choose the Warriors. And Yaxel's like, well, I'm not like other rookies. You can come here and play with one of the greatest shooters ever in with Draymond. And I'm not like other rookies. And Draymond's like, it was pointless. Shut up. It's like, Draymond, don't punch the guy. Relax. Come on.
You know what? The thing is, Draymond can say whatever he wants right now, but when the season starts and Yax is helping them win basketball games, I think all of these problems will go away, right? Like, a lot of those issues will go away. Although the press conferences between both those two dudes are going to be really, really interesting because I'm guessing some side eyes are going to be in play here. Like, we know how that relationship is going to go. What if this is a pivot though? What if Draymond just turns into Yax's vet and they get along really great? Like that could be in play.
It's very possible. I could see that happening. I did think it was funny how Yaxel said how some people are built for this while he got saved by the refs on that Cam Boozer steal. Boozer clearly stole the ball from Yaxel Lendeborg, and while laying it up, the official clearly doesn't know what they're doing, gave the timeout to the Warriors. basically after the ball was out of Yaxel Lendeborg's hands. I thought the replay showed this very clearly. From what I could tell, from the angles I saw, seemed like the Grizzlies got completely screwed in this situation. Not as screwed as they did with the draft lottery rules with their pick they got from the Utah Jazz. Not nearly as screwed there, but still screwed nonetheless. Even though it's Summer League, if I were a Grizzlies fan this morning, I'd still be feeling a certain way, even though it's just Summer League. It was just a horrible call at the end of the game there.
A bad call, but I do think it does show a little bit of like how much this stuff matters to Cam Boozer. And I think if you're a Grizzlies fan, you're leaving this really with a lot of positive impressions about this rookie because he cares. I think his body looks great. I think he's slimmed down a little bit. And his game, like, does he ever play poorly? I know there's going to be nights where shots don't go in, but like the process of like, what am I getting to? What is my reads? What am I doing on the glass? What am I bringing defensively? Like his process and how he approaches the game every single time he plays is always the right approach. And so even on the nights when shots don't go in, like I still think he's positively impacting his team and helping his team. You can't say that about everybody. I know it didn't end as well as they wanted, and the turnover also late with 8 seconds to go was a little bit frustrating. I thought they ran it great. They had the three potentially for Coward to tie the game. Like it was going to be wide open if they had connected on that late pass. But overall, if I'm a Grizzlies fan, I'm ecstatic that Cam Boozer's on my team right now.
Yeah, I'd be ecstatic as well. He averaged 19, 8, and 4 during Summer League for the Memphis Grizzlies and just looked like a veteran out there. I mean, he's the youngest player in the first round drafted playing against the oldest in Yaxel Lendeborg, and Boozer just looks like a vet the way he operates on the court. And I thought there was a lot of times in that fourth quarter where the Grizzlies weren't getting him touches. I'm like, get the ball to Boozer. Like, what is going on with this dysfunctional offense? Get the ball in Boozer's hands. And same thing with Cedric Coward too. Like he was very good in Summer League for the Memphis Grizzlies after an all rookie season, 19, 7, and 4. He shot 42% from three. And we know with college, a very small sample size with the injuries that he had playing 6 games his final year at Washington State, then goes to the NBA, becomes a lottery pick, didn't shoot well last year for Memphis, found his shot with the Grizzlies in Summer League. So I looked at various sports betting over-unders for wins, and they have the Grizzlies at 28.5. And that just feels, at least in my opinion, too low. I'm hammering the over there. I'm not much of a bettor, but I am betting on the Grizzlies to hit that over with Edey back, Cedric Coward year 2, Cam Boozer on the team now, a really good depth, a lot of good young pieces. Ty Jerome as a veteran there, as their guard who was excellent to close the season before the Grizzlies shut them down because they were tanking. I think the Grizzlies are an easy over, and we saw a preview of that with how their performance this Summer League, I thought.
You know, I think the thing, too, that I think about with Memphis a lot is like on the nights that Cameron Boozer and Zach Edey play together, their floor feels pretty high because they're going to rebound, right? Like it's like the offensive rebounding impact that you have with both those two guys on the floor together is very clear. And I also think that they're set up to be a really good defensive rebounding team when those two guys are there. And I like the offensive flow that they can kind of start to get into a little bit with the Cam Boozer, Zach Edey pick and rolls. That's one thing I noticed a lot with the Grizzlies at times is they're very comfortable using Boozer as a pick and roll initiator. And he put a couple defenders into jail basically on his back hip, trying to decipher the defense, find the open man. Like I think that gives them some avenues to work through. So we'll see on the 28.5 on that regard. Obviously, injuries are going to have a big say on that and just who can stay healthy over the long course of the season. But I think if one of my bigger takeaways with the Grizzlies is like I kind of feel like Cameron Boozer is going to be the runaway player or rookie of the year. Like that feels like the safest bet for me on the board. I know Caleb Wilson's had an awesome Summer League. AJ DeBonsa's a freak. Darren Peterson's a freak. But that combination of like the usage rate and the ability to impact the game in so many ways offensively. And I think he has the best path to being a top number 1 option on his roster. I think Cam Boozer has not dissuaded any of my thoughts that he's going to be the rookie of the year next year.
Yeah, I think that's I can't bet on awards as a voter, but like I think Cam Boozer would be who I'd rank as the favorite for rookie of the year right now over those other guys, even if those other guys end up better players long term. And I don't know if they will. I had Boozer as my top ranked prospect on the board, but Boozer I think would be the good bet for rookie of the year, in part because he's going to put up numbers and in part because I think it's going to happen in a winning environment. I wouldn't be surprised if the Grizzlies crack 40 wins. I mean, front court with Zach Edey, they had a plus 17 net rating last year with Edey on the floor. Now you add Isaiah Stewart and Quentin Post with Cam Boozer as a rookie. Those are your bigs. You add Jeremy Grant, who had a really good year for the Portland Trailblazers before getting injured late, as your veteran wing with Cedric Coward in year 2. Jalen Wells is a really good two-way guy. G.G. Jackson entering year 3 now, maybe has a big year. I'm not expecting a lot from Kareem Lopez deeper off the bench, or even Taylor Hendricks, guys like that. But the backcourt, Scottie Pippen Jr., Ty Jerome, Cam Spencer, like, this is a really good and deep team. And I think for Memphis, this was just a hint of what they could be this coming year as one of the more underrated teams in the league. A team that I don't think is going to be good, but you feel like there's something to feel good about, is the Milwaukee Bucks, because of Brayden Burries, who once again had another big game this weekend, 20 plus points, high efficiency, 3-level scoring, like we talked about last week on the podcast. He's looking one of the clear cut steals as the 10th pick in the draft for Milwaukee. After following him all last year at Arizona, Isaac, what have you seen from Burries' development? What's new in his game? How are things translated for him so far in your analysis?
To be honest, Burries is one of the oldest players in this rookie class. So, I kind of expected him to walk into Summer League and be really, really good. Although I will say he's been even better than I thought. I think the biggest stride that I've seen from him is just a little bit more on-ball utility, right? Like at Arizona, they were kind of a good offense that everybody could eat, but their most important offensive action was hey, how can we defensive rebound and run and score in transition? And Burries was obviously fantastic at that, but the ability to actually play on the ball and get lead ball reps, he got a decent amount at Arizona, but not and really on that same level of a Darius Acuff, of a Keaton Wagler, of a Mikael Brown Jr. But this year in Summer League, I feel like his ability to play on the ball, to pressure the rim, to have outs in the middle of the floor with his pull-up jumper. Obviously, the three is obviously a huge part of his game as well. And then the physicality, he just takes a lot of bumps and just doesn't seem to get knocked off his spot at all. That's all really, really good stuff. And for a Bucks backcourt that is very wide open right now, it's hard to watch Summer League and not be Brayden Burries needs to lead this team in pick and roll reps next year.
You mentioned Keaton Wagler in passing. I know the Clippers did strongly consider Brayden Burries with the 5th pick, and they also considered trade down opportunities where I think Burries would have been one of their primary targets. If we were redrafting today, do the Clippers still take Wagler 5th?
I do. I have actually been as encouraged with Keaton Wagler's Summer League as anybody. I know that sounds weird because the first 3 halves were really brutal, but I just think his maturity and his mental toughness to get back off the mat has been really, really impressive, right? Guys have 10 fouls. They are heating him up like crazy in this Summer League, right? They're being super, super physical. We know the physicality is going to be a part of his game that he has to improve on. But his ability to constantly problem solve and find ways to impact the game is outstanding. I thought he got better and better with time. The jumper is automatic. He looks huge on the floor as well. And there's obviously parts of his game that he's going to have to round out, right? His finishing at the rim over length is a problem. I think he's trying to work on his deceleration and finding ways to create separation off the bounce. That's something that I think he's struggled with. Adding more to his game with a floater or that pull-up 15-footer, I think is going to be a huge part of keeping defenders honest. But guys got knocked down on the mat looking like he was, maybe a bust after the first 3 halves. Everybody's freaking out. His ability to get back up, continue to impact his team in positive ways is something that I think says a lot about the kid and says a lot about his future in this league.
I agree with every word. I mean, look, I'm not going to overreact to 3 crappy halves in Summer League. It's just Summer League. We've seen Jalen Brunson was terrible in his first Summer League too, and he becomes a Finals MVP, one of the best point guards in the league. It's you're not going to overreact to any of this in one way or the other. I think especially for a guy like Wagler, where there's an athletic translation for him that needs to occur, and I think for him long term, he's still going to be a really good point guard in the NBA. It's just a matter of what level he ends up reaching. Last thing about Summer League before we talk about Peach Jam, Isaac, was there an impressive 2nd or 3rd year player that stuck out to you that you watched?
Interesting. I watched Sean Padula and I'm that guy can really play in this league. Like he can absolutely play in this league. His ability he pulls from 30 feet and just looks terrific in that regard. I think his ability to play on or off the ball certainly helps him, right? It's hard not to make like the Peyton Pritchard type of comp for him. But I look again at this Clippers team that has so many openings. And as I was watching Keaton Wagler, I'm like, man, every time that Keaton Wagler is at his best, it feels like Sean Badula is on the floor, making him a little bit better and continuing to get him easier shots. I just think he's a guy I've been really high on dating back to his days at Virginia Tech. And he transfers and goes to Ole Miss and plays under Chris Beard. And he just continually problem solves. I think he's going to find a way to be really, really impactful for the Clippers next year.
That it's a good call. I mean, but with Padula for underrated guys, I mean, I think that's a good one there. What did he have? Like 10 out of 15 points in their overtime game, something like that. I think 10, I forget the exact number, but 10 out of 15 in overtime, if I remember correctly, just took over.
He's just cold. He is just cold, and he just makes guys better too. And obviously, the jumper is just auto with him. So he's somebody I definitely want to bet on as well. I was pleasantly surprised with how well he played in Summer League.
I think another deeper cut name, Zion Poland from the Minnesota Timberwolves, two-way guy on their roster out of Florida, now entering year 3. The first game was like nearly a triple-double. The average big numbers every single game after a really stellar G League season last year. I think Poland is a guy that deserves an opportunity in the NBA. Very impressed by him. But I think for like bigger name guys, come on, Malawach for the Phoenix Suns. Looks like a potential game changer. Just looks stronger. He looked quicker defensively, blocking everything around the rim, showing a bit of versatility as well. And then offensively, just banging threes with his size. There's so, like, we talk so much in the league nowadays about how bigs have evolved to the perimeter, but there's still not a lot of guys that are elite 3-point shooters and elite shot blockers. And Malawach looks like a guy who could be on that trajectory. And for the Phoenix Suns, that changes what they could be as a team when you have a guy that can do both of those things, especially pairing him with Koa Pete, Rasheer Fleming, guys like that in the front court. Phoenix could suddenly be this really, really, really like strong, big, long-armed, versatile team surrounding Devin Booker. And I think if you're projecting them forward, that's going to be pretty exciting if you're a Suns fan, and Malawach being a big part of that to accelerate things moving forward.
I mean, he's just enormous too. And I think we all knew that like there was a development curve that needed to happen with him, right? Like a little bit of a late start to play basketball, like his freshman year at Duke, like they had to kind of work him into this to the rotation a little bit. We didn't get to see a lot of his perimeter game, but like the size, the physicality, the rim protection, the offensive rebounding, and then you toss in the threes as like a little cherry on top. Like I don't want, come on, Malawach to like, be Kristaps Porzingis where he's taking 6, 7, 8 threes in a game. Like I want the threes to be an additive part of his game, not like the key like meat and potatoes of his game. But that it's just such a game changer, and it's now or never, right? Like it's time for him to consistently be a huge part of this rotation, and the Suns certainly need it. But you're right, like that. Physicality is the craze in the NBA right now, and if Malawach is really, really physical, and then Koa Pete, whose calling card is physicality, right? I think I comped him to like a 6'9" fire hydrant. Like if those are the two guys that are a huge part of your front court, physicality will not be a question for the Suns moving forward.
So you spent the last 4 nights at Peach Jam, and the guy who went very viral is Cayden Daughtry. Cayden was 9th ranked on your board, I believe. Is it specifically your board, or is it a group board at 24/7 Sports? Entering
it's
the week?
A group board. I'm not in charge of that one.
Okay. So, but he's not number one. The number one player on most boards for the 2027 high school class, the 2028 NBA draft class, is Beckham Black, who is the brother of Anthony Black. But the big star of the week was Cayden Daughtry, who is continuing a really stellar year for him. He led his high school team, Calvary Christian Academy, to a 2nd straight title. He won a gold medal with Team USA, and then he won the Peach Jam Championship and MVP of the EYBL. And some of the highlights on screen for people watching on YouTube: 6 foot tall, roughly, 32 points per game, shot nearly 50% from 3 steals per game, an elite assist to turnover ratio. He looked like the guy he's gonna get Stephen Curry comps. It's gonna happen. Like, this is going to be the first player people compare to Stephen Curry. Fair or not, that's what's going to be happening here with Cayden Daughtry.
He gives me Trae Young vibes, to be honest. That's the guy that I keep looking at with him, because the paint touch on demand that he brings to the floor is just insane. And like, I'm going into Peach Jam, there's games starting left and right, and like day after day, I'm like, when does Cayden Daughtry play? Because I just got to watch this guy play. Like, I just have to watch him play. He's so intoxicating with his style of play because of the speed, how uncomfortable he makes the teams he's playing against, and how comfortable his teammates are, right? Like, I love that balancing act. But he told me that Allen Iverson is his favorite player. And then you can see those AI, like the homage to AI a little bit with his handle. Like, his handle is ludicrous. And he had a crossover dribble against the New York Rens, went down the lane for a two-hand jam. Like, he can play above the rim, even though he's 6 foot and 165 pounds. His floater, his pull-up jumper inside the arc are just automatic. I think he was 62% on twos in 8 games at Peach Jam. Like, he's unreal. He's unreal. And I think he really captivated pretty much everybody in that gym. And it's a pretty insane rise for a player like this, who kind of defies all of like the size and physicality and like what a basketball player is supposed to look like. But skills pay the bills with him, and Cayden Daughtry has skills out the wazoo.
I think the Trae Young comp is also inevitable with him. To your point, it's also fair. It's unfair to compare anybody to Stephen Curry. It's just you can't do that. Like, but I'm saying it's going to happen when it comes to the 2028 draft cycle. He's going to be the first guy. There hasn't been a prospect that people say is like Steph, really, except for Trae Young. That was really the only one. But with Trae, that was unfair at the time. But I think with Cayden Daughtry, the reason why I'm a little bit more open to it is because with Trae, there's no defense. With Cayden Daughtry, you're pairing this unbelievable offense with great activity on the defensive end of the floor, this hard-nosed, tough mentality. And we'll see if that lasts over the course of time, deeper into his career. But seems like he has an amazing head on his shoulders, very intelligent. I'm blown away by every interview I've seen with him, on top of the play on the floor. I have not ranked my 2028 NBA draft prospects yet. I have not done that. I haven't watched these guys too deeply. But from what I've seen, Daughtry looks like a better prospect to me than Beckham Black. That's my very early impressions.
We'll see. I'm not quite there on that regard. Like, I think Beckham's really good, man. Like, I was really impressed with him too this week as well. But there's no doubt, I think right now, Cayden Daughtry, you could make a strong case as the better high school player. The thing with Keaton too that I like is just the pace that he plays at. Like, he's just always begging for the basketball after a defensive rebound and wanting to go. Like, he just really wants to go. And I think about how the league is trending right now, playing in transition, getting easy shots, trying to score in the first 7 or 8 seconds of the shot clock before defenses can get set. Like, that's a lot of that stuff that he has is really, really special. But we can get into Beckham here in a little bit too. Like, I watch his game, and my first impression of him is like, this dude just knows how to hoop. Like, he can play on the ball, he can play off the ball. 6'3", 180 pounds. He's someone that you can build your offense around with his shot making. But I thought his decision making was really, really good. You know, this week he averaged 5.3 assists in his games for AB Elite. Now, the assist to turnover ratio was 2.4 to 1. That was excellent. But I think it's more than just the assist. It's more than just the assist to turnover ratio. It's like getting the ball from point A to point B in some of these actions was terrific, and it got his team good shots. So I was really impressed with him too. For me, I would have Beckham slightly ahead of Daughtry as like an NBA draft prospect, but it's hard to argue with Daughtry's production right now. Like, his production is just through the roof.
Who does Beckham Black better compare to? Obviously not his brother, Anthony Black, quite as much. Not as tall as him, but do you have a comp for Beckham Black?
I see a little bit of Brayden Burries, just with like that size and the ability to impact the game in a bunch of different ways. And then like the cutting is an underrated part of Beckham Black's game, just like it was for Brayden Burries. Like Black, when he played off the ball, like he sets up his back cuts terrific. He always moves without it. Like he can obviously play through contact a little bit like Brayden Burries can as well. That's just a first name that I think of right now when I look at him. But we'll see, right? Like there's a lot of time, right, for him to continue to develop his game. We'll see if he has another growth spurt in his potential range of outcomes. But at 6'3" and 180 pounds, he's got just like this incredible base of size, physicality, feel, on ball, off ball versatility. He can shoot it. He gets to the free throw line. He can draw fouls at a high rate. Like, I just think he's a good player, like a really, really good player. And that was kind of my comp with Brayden Burries as well. Like I just would watch him and be like, yep, really good at basketball. That's how I feel when I watch Beckham Black too.
I think this week at Peach Jam, with all the excitement and, online with these guys performing, especially Cayden Daughtry at Peach Jam, it speaks to why teams are sort of looking ahead to 2028 over 2027 for draft classes. There's just like a lot of guys in that class where it's like, oh boy, these could be franchise changers for us. Whereas in 2027, it's not that it's going to be a horrific draft. I don't ever want to say that. I think there's a lot of good prospects who went back to school this year. Krivas at Arizona. I can't wait to see what Swego does at Villanova. Thomas Hawk at Florida. It's like a lot of, let's see Elijah Arenas with a full year at USC. Amari Allen, you mentioned him in passing earlier, at Alabama entering year 2. There's a lot of really good underclassmen still, and then some upperclassmen as well who could really stand out. I don't want to underrate it, but in terms of top end talent, 2027 doesn't quite seem at the same level as 26 was, 25 was, or what 28 projects to be pretty early on right now.
That's a really important thing to talk about too right now. Like if you go on 247sports.com and look at the top recruits in 2027, it's like Beckham Black is number 1. There's a really good chance that the number 1 recruit in 2027 is like 4th in the 2028 NBA draft because of the reclassification, right? Right now, 3 elite level prospects have reclassified to 2026. Joaquin Boomche. We call him JoJo, Boom Boom, whatever you want. He's at Duke. He's going to play college basketball for 2 years. Marcus Spears, he was the number 1 recruit in 2027. He just reclassified as well to Texas. He'll play 2 years of college basketball. And then Nikola Kusturica from Serbia, outstanding prospect, just tore up Team USA in FIBA this past month. He's going to UCLA, and again, he's going to be in college for 2 years. Why? Like it's NIL. Like that's a huge part of all of this. A lot of high school players are trying to get their bags a little bit early. The ability to go to college, spend 2 years, that's 2 paychecks. So I would, as of right now, I'm looking at 2028. I would expect Boomche and Kusturica to be 1 and 2 in some order, however order you want to order it right now. So then that class of 2027, there's a very good chance that Beckham Black might be the number 1 player in the class, but number 4 when the draft rolls around because of these reclassifications.
Exactly, especially because that size aspect. If Beckham Black doesn't grow to 6'6", similar to his brother Anthony Black, Marcus Spears is like what 6'10", 6'11". All those other guys, I think, are above 6'8", 6'9". We'll see how they end up measuring without shoes or as we get better measurements over time. But that class, oh boy, 2028, there's a reason why you see some teams trying to load up on picks in that 2028 draft class. And it's because of the amount of elite level prospects there are that year. So it's like one off year for top end prospects, Stokes and Smith and Branch and some of these guys, they're solid prospects, but they're nowhere near the level as what we just saw with Devonta and Peterson and Boozer and Wilson, or what we will see again in 2028. So for the new draft lottery rules, that's the funny thing is for like some of these picks this year, you may not want number 1 this year because that would mean you were not able to get number 1 in 2028. If you had a top 5 this year in 2026, you don't want top 5 again next year in 27 because that means you can't get top 5 in 2028. So there's going to be a lot of teams in the NBA this year winning, trying to win games, trying to get into the postseason, in part because of the new draft lottery rules where things are flattened where playing teams get odds, but also in part due to the fact that you don't want to be in the top 5 this year in certain cases. So yeah, I can't wait to see the way the league is with the new draft lottery rules. That's going to be exciting this coming season.
It is. And the other thing too that I like about like just getting in the weeds with NBA draft stuff is like, when's the last time we've had 2 years to dive into like a potential number 1 pick like this at the college level in Joaquin Boomche, right? Again, if you haven't seen him, 6'10", 6'11", can really shoot the cover off the basketball from downtown. I think he's going to play some small ball 5 for Duke this year. I kind of project him as like, hey, be a good starter in year 1, and then, hey, like we're going for National Player of the Year in year 2. As a draft community, like when have we had a chance to like actually sink our teeth into 2 years of tape at the college ranks for some of these elite level prospects? I think it's going to be a good problem, maybe a first world problem, but a good problem to have because there's going to be a lot of strengths that get shown, but there's probably going to be some weaknesses that get exploited on the biggest stage because college basketball, as old as it's ever been and as talented as it's ever been, thanks to NIL.
I think with Boomche going to Duke especially, the amount of eyeballs that are always on Duke prospects, Duke as a team, period, as a college basketball team, the hype that could build for him after 2 years in college could be enormous. And a good thing for the NBA as well. If more and more guys are reclassifying and spending 2 years in school, 2 years under the spotlight, 2 years of getting experience in really tough environments, tough, close, hostile games, that's what you want, is for these kids to become more seasoned over time. I mean, as nice as Peach Jam is, and like it's great to see guys go through it. It's an event for scouts, and it's an event for those types of people. It's not an event where fans are going crazy and there's pressure on you and there's cameras and there's millions of people watching. That's where I think these guys become really chiseled over time. And so I'm very excited for this 2 year cycle for some of these prospects that we're going to see. I'm already looking ahead to 2028. I mean, I'm 2027. I don't want to completely dismiss it by any means. It's going to still have good quality players, but the superstar level players are where 2028 is just pretty exhilarating. Am I underrating anybody in 2027, you think, Isaac? Like, are you like a Stokes guy? Is there anybody that you're like, no, like you NBA people have it wrong. This guy has superstar potential.
I think Caleb Holt at Arizona is terrific. Every time I've watched him play, he's been outstanding. 6'5", 6'6". Again, I like the physical guards that just run through dudes. That's Caleb Holt a little bit. And I think that at Arizona, he's set up to thrive in that Tommy Lloyd system. They play in transition a ton. I think he's going to continually just smash in transition. And then just the defense. Like, he is a two-way player from the jump. I think that's something that you notice right away from his tape. And the shot has continually just improved. It's taken step after step after step as a prospect. So I think Holt is somebody there that I'm just curious about. And then Stokes, honestly, like, the league just likes 6'7", 6'8" guys that can pass, dribble, and shoot. Like, they just do. And so I'm just more curious about his maturity, how he continually finds ways to impact the game when the ball is not in his hands. I think he picked the right spot at Kansas. Because Bill Self is really good at handling some of the personalities like this. But I'm just kind of curious how his game continues to coalesce over the oncoming year. But you're right. Like, as I'm starting to do these like way too early 2027 NBA drafts, mock drafts, it's like, my God, like, where are we at here? I feel like there's just a lot of guys in like the 15s through the 25 range. And I'm like, man, like, they're just begging to get leaped over. I would throw a couple sleeper names. I think David Mirkovic at Illinois is a 6'9" pass, dribble, shoot forward, really, really high feel. If his body gets under control, I think he could be a guy that you could hear in the lottery. And then there's just a lot of interesting cats that like went back for year two, like a Matt Abel had a chance to be drafted in the first round, goes back to North Carolina after transferring to North Carolina from NC State. If he puts it all together, man, at 6'5", 6'6", great size, great shot making, can play on the ball, can play off the ball. If he puts it together, he's going to be somebody that, like, hey, maybe you see in the 20s right now in a way too early mock, but he could push for the lottery.
Tunde Yesufu transferring to St. John's from Baylor, another guy. Tyler Tanner going back to Vanderbilt again this year, another small guard. Maybe things don't improve for him. Maybe he explodes. Who knows with guys like that? It's definitely an interesting draft class, and I think when there's no clear-cut top guy, I think that's where it makes some of these debates more and more interesting. So I'm excited for it from that standpoint. But for the casual fan, there's not that guy where it's like, AJ Bonsa could be my savior. He can change everything for us. I don't think there's quite that guy, at least not yet. We'll see how the year develops. Isaac, thank you so much for joining me today, man. People can check out your stuff at CBS Sports and 24/7 as well. Thanks for coming on, man.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for tuning into the Kevin O'Connor Show today. Make sure to subscribe to Yahoo NBA so you can keep up with all of our NBA coverage. And if you enjoyed today's video, please make sure you give us a like and leave a comment down below with your thoughts. We'll see you for the next one.